without blinking. You were beautiful, just like a flower. I could walk with you for 1,000,000 miles and my feet would not get tired. Where you go, I'll go, winter or summer. I don't care the seasons change, 'cause darling, I'll stay right here with you.
Hello everyone, happy Saturday morning. Today we are resetting our mental health. So whether you are going through something that is very specific or you're just going through a little bit of a slump, there's nothing really going on in your life, but you are not feeling your absolute best, then I hope that this video will help motivate you, inspire you, and I can give you some tips that you can use to help you get yourself back up to where you are meant to be. I'm gonna be real honest with you guys right now. I am in the midst of doing this reset right now. I was not going to vlog or film this weekend because I wanted to do a mental health reset, but today I'm feeling a lot better and I was like, you know what, I think this would be good to bring you guys along and talk about some of the things that I have been doing to help me get back up. So I just got back from hot yoga. I'm gonna get ready. We're gonna talk about a few things because we absolutely need to unpack. And yeah, this is gonna be a healing conversation, like usually all of my talks. Also, I did have the turban towel on my head, but we took it off for this video. I'm getting a little tired of seeing it, honestly. So without airing my whole entire life and mental health on the internet, let's just say I have felt a little bit disappointed in someone's actions in my life. And that has triggered my beautiful, amazing, anxious attachment style. And sometimes when people don't show up the way that we would love them to show up in our lives, we feel disappointed, which is totally fine to feel disappointed by someone else's actions in your life, of course. But what we tend to do sometimes, and especially if you have an anxious attachment style, especially I find if you're a woman, we take things very personally, like very personally. So if somebody cancels on plans, if somebody's not, texting the way that we're really used to, communicating, they're busy doing something with their life, no matter really what it is, whether it is a real perceived red flag or not, whatever it is, we most likely will be taking that very personally. And that will create lots of self-doubt, lots of low self-esteem, like we're questioning our worth, we're wondering what's wrong with us, we're wondering why we're not getting picked. We are basically getting triggered into a state of feeling that we've felt most likely around somebody, let's say a parent in childhood. Maybe it wasn't necessarily a parent, but it could have been someone that made you feel kind of the same way. And it's not fun. It's literally not a good feeling. There can be anger, there's of course sadness. And at least for me, let's say when somebody's not showing up the way that I would want them to be showing up in my life, or I'm feeling a little bit disappointed, most likely there's distance or there's some sort of gap in between where you guys are and where you actually want to be. And that gap feels like a lot of unknown, like uncertainty, like it's like you're waiting around, you don't know the answer, you're waiting for somebody to give you the answer, you're just like, there's so much anxiety. And for me personally, I remember when my mom would leave my home to go work, and she would work at night. She had me when she was 21, which is crazy to think because I'm 27. So crazy to think that she had me at that age, and I never even realized how young it was until like now. But she had me like 21, so she would be bartending and serving, and she would work late nights, and she would leave me with my dad. And my dad was not the best, like emotionally, he just wasn't there. He wasn't connected to me. I felt very afraid to be around him a lot of the times, not in like a physical standpoint like that. He never did anything like that to me, but he was just very scary for me to be around. And I couldn't really express any of my emotions. I couldn't get my needs met. My basic needs were met, yes, but I was just a very suppressed, lonely child. I was very bored. I was always waiting around. I was always wishing my mom would come home like quicker and faster, and just to get me out of this feeling of waiting, feeling of boredness, feeling of like, oh my gosh, I can't be here anymore. It's not safe. Sometimes, especially in relational issues, when somebody's not showing up a certain way, it can trigger those type of feelings, right? Because if they're not showing up a certain way, then they're no longer technically stabilizing our nervous systems, and then we start to go amok. But what I've always realized, especially in relationships, is, okay, whatever it is that person is doing, sure, they're maybe not acting the best. you can deal with that later. But realistically, I really think that the universe is a part of this person that's in your life, and the universe is trying to teach you a lesson through this person. And for me personally, the lesson is, okay, well, why is it that my nervous system gets so absolutely dysregulated when somebody doesn't show up a certain way? Now, it's normal that you're going to expect somebody to show up a certain way when you have attachment to them, when, they're in your life and they're amazing. And that's totally fine to expect that out of people, obviously, right? Because if we don't, then that's where we get into really crappy relationships. But I do find, especially with people with attachment issues, we tend to really conform and attach to people. So their slightest move, the slightest text message that we perceive to be something different, the 1 extra hour, the 2 extra hours, the tone of the voice, we really pick up on those things. And mainly we pick up on those things because we were probably around a nervous system where we had to. In my childhood, I got really good at attuning to my dad's nervous system. So if he was in a bad mood or if he was whatever, I was making sure I was safe by staying away, going into my room, being a good girl. And honestly, when you learn that you have an attachment style and it's not really about that other person and there's a lesson to be learned, things of that nature, obviously that helps us be able to kind of reset and refocus. But sometimes when you are feeling very anxious and you're very triggered, sometimes it's not enough for you to just try to use your logical brain to talk yourself out of it, or get the advice from your friends like, oh, it's fine, like you don't need to overthink it and da-da-da. Like, that is very useful, but it's not useful when you are really in a triggered state. So what I did last night was I was feeling very, very triggered to the point where it was like I couldn't ignore it anymore, and I found myself thinking, creating stories in my head, and about to take actions that were really out of a place of my inner child just wanting to feel safe any way that she could. And sometimes we do this when we double text people, or we lash out at them, or we tell them how much they're hurting us and whatever. Again, there's always room for you to communicate your needs in relationships, but majority of the time when you're in a place of being triggered, it's really not about actually creating some harmony in that relationship, and it's really trying to put yourself at ease. And I personally believe, and I've talked to my somatic therapist about this, and we've learned how to put ourselves at ease by double texting people or getting them to make us feel better. But realistically, the reason why we're in this situation in the first place is because we never learned actually how to feel better on our own. Because it's like, why do we have this huge attachment to the point where somebody says one small thing and then our whole world is blown up? That's not healthy. It's not how it should be. Again, I want to be very careful with what I say here. You're not meant to live life always meeting every single one of your needs and always having to make yourself happy and self-love to the end of day, and nobody's love is going to be like contributing to my happiness. It's unrealistic to think that. But when you're in this state, it is so important. I think it's the lesson that we need to learn is, okay, how do I love on myself more? How do I become obsessed with myself? How do I stop disappointing myself? How do I stop focusing on everything else that's going on over here and bring my attention to myself? Now, some of those things are gonna look like what I'm gonna be doing today, but I wasn't able to get up and do the things today without last night deciding to release the resistance that I was having on these feelings, because I was feeling anxious. I was feeling the stories or listening to the stories really in my head, and I was trying to combat them. I was trying to push them away. I was trying to say, don't worry about it, like make yourself feel better, but I couldn't do it. No matter what type of action that I was taking, I still felt so much anxiety. So I got to a point where I just released the resistance. I sat with myself. I put on some music and let myself cry. I let myself cry. I let myself feel the emotions that really deep down I'm feeling from childhood. I let myself feel anger towards my dad. I let myself feel hurt for my inner child that didn't get her needs met. I literally went through all of the ranges of emotions. And now some people are afraid to do this because it's very scary, in which sometimes you might need to do it with a therapist, and sometimes you do because you could get triggered more. So I want to be careful with what I say, but I do think that there's so much value in you releasing the emotions and letting yourself cry and just journal things out. I did it as well. I wrote out what I was feeling, why I was feeling like this. Also wrote out all of my fears that I was holding about this person that was disappointing me, and how I really wanted them to actually be showing up, and how mad at them that I was that they weren't showing up like that. And I got real with myself. I got real with the feelings that I was feeling inside of me, which was I don't feel worthy of love. I don't feel worthy of being shown up for. I don't feel like I'm ever gonna get what I want in relationships. I don't feel like X, Y, and Z. I wrote out all of my fears and all of the subconscious things that were residing within me. And when that happened, it was like a huge weight got lifted off of me. And I think that literally, I know, every human being walks through life with all of that heaviness on them. And what we try and do, especially you guys who watch videos of mine, we try and pick up every routine and every journal practice and every little thing to make ourselves feel better and to push down the feeling that we feel. But realistically, the thing that's gonna allow us to actually come up to the feeling that we really want to be at is sometimes to really go deep and to really let that out. Now, sometimes you don't need to always go down there and spiral and continue to go on and on and on, because then it creates a bigger reality for yourself, and there's definitely an ebb and flow. But I find when I'm very, very agitated and very anxious, I need to let it out. And so that's what I did. I even decided last night, like, phone on D&D, not going on Instagram, not posting, not doing anything. I'm going to bring my attention back to myself, because my attention has been so on other people, so on other circumstances, so on 1,000,000 stories, that it's time to bring my focus inward. And realistically, when I did that, I was able to finally have a clear head to be able to create a new story in my mind so that I can get up and continue to learn the lesson that is actually underneath everything that I'm going through. Like, you know, when somebody doesn't show up in your life the way that you want, disappoints you, somebody's triggering you, whatever, like, yes, we can acknowledge that that is like an actual reality of ours that we have to go through, but realistically, underneath it, there's a huge lesson. And the lesson is gonna be different for everyone. But sometimes what we do is we just see the circumstance, right? And we get triggered and we continue to just focus on how this person's not showing up, or this situation is not changing, or whatever. And realistically, it's not about the situation. So let me just tell you some of the things that I'm learning right now. I need to honestly learn how to be more obsessed with myself. I do. And I know sometimes it's a little bit extreme to be like, go be obsessed with yourself. I don't really love that word, but realistically, like, that is my lesson. It's like, I need to become more obsessed with my own life and my own worthiness, and I need to step into my own worthiness, and I need to feel more confident, because realistically, I'm feeling disappointment from somebody that I have an attachment to. But on top of that, what's creating more suffering for me is that I'm taking their actions personally. And if I had more confidence, and if I was stepping more in my worth, and I was obsessed with myself and my life and whatever, I wouldn't really take what they are doing so personally. Now I'm gonna be like very real with you guys. Like, it's totally fine, and maybe it is like okay to take some things personally. Like, again, we need to have boundaries in relationships, we need to step in our worth and whatever. But for me personally, I know the situation in depth. The lesson that I need to learn is to step more in my own worth and recognize how amazing I am, and how, of course, I'm worthy of being shown up for. And if I'm not being shown up for, if I am getting, you know, somebody's acting a certain way, that is not on me. It is not me. I am not the problem. I am not the problem. And I know that that is also my lesson that I need to learn, because I've always looked at myself as the problem. Since day one, when I was around my father, I looked at myself as I was the problem. There's something that I am or am not that is making you not be the father that I'm probably supposed to have. I don't know what it is. I don't know what I'm saying. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm being a good girl. I'm trying to do everything, but no matter what I do, you're not showing up. And so that creates a lot of inferiority. And you know, you can go through life and you can build up your confidence and build up your self-love. And I have over the years, like, I really freaking have. But there's going to be moments and pockets of time, especially in relationships, where you get triggered. And this is me. This is me right now. It's like, hello, honey, just a reminder. You need to step back into your worth. You need to remind yourself of who you are. And realistically, I find our confidence and our self-worth, it does tend to dip a little bit once we create attachment to a man, which is, it's fine that you create attachment to a man, but it's kind of just like, let's recalibrate a little bit. Let's remember who we are. Let's remember that, yes, it's so amazing that this person is in our life and they're making us happy and they're telling us what we want to hear and they're validating us. but we still need to make sure we're doing it ourselves. And what happens in relationships sometimes is we lose that backbone to be able to do it ourselves, and we rely on that other person to do it for us because it feels so amazing. It feels unmatched. There's sometimes external validation you just can't create within yourself like that. Like it's a different feeling. So it's totally fine. Like this is why I'm validating you guys, and I'm also validating myself. Like it is totally fine that you slip up, you know, and your value is maybe placed a little bit too much on the other person, whether they're showing up, blah, 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 blah. Again, these are the times that you want to feel your feelings and you want to sit with yourself and be like, what am I needing to learn in this moment? Another thing that I'm trying to learn is how to be in a secure attachment style. And so let's bring it back to disappointment. I'm not going to get into details, but you know, we have such huge high expectations sometimes in relationships because we need them to be perfect and we want to feel safe and we don't want to ever trigger ourselves into anxious attachment, realistically. Now, again, there's always going to be a level of you should show up for me like I'm deserving of it and whatever, and if not, then you're not my person, whatever. But relationships are not perfect and people have things going on in their own life. And if every time something comes up and we say, okay, I'm triggered by, I'm going to walk away, that's not learning how to have a healthy relationship. That's not learning how to have a secure attachment style, because realistically, a secure attachment style is being okay and being safe within yourself and solid within yourself as that person naturally goes their way, does whatever they're doing in their life, has their own life, whatever, but you also trust that that person is going to come back, and you also don't take things personally when they leave. And that's what I am trying to work on. Now, it's going to very much so depend on the type of person that you're talking to, of course. You don't want to try to be secure with somebody who is really not caring about you. So there's a huge balance. And again, that's why sometimes like going to therapy and really unpacking these things is very helpful. But those are just some of the things that I know deep down that is what the universe is trying to get me to really be. And I've been telling this to the universe. Let me have a challenge. I say that I want a healthy relationship. I say I want this life. Okay, well, how I'm realistically going to get the life that I want, the relationship, everything that I want is going to be on the other side of everything that I have been avoiding, that I haven't worked on yet, that I am keeping small and hoping that I just don't trigger myself. And that's why sometimes I think getting triggered can actually be a very beautiful thing if you look at it like that, because then you can actually transform. But some people don't ever want to be triggered with anything, and they want their whole life to be this pretend reality where everything feels amazing all of the time and no one's ever getting triggered, blah, blah, blah. So anyways, analyzing the lessons that I need to learn from this is what is going to help me stand more firmly and feel more regulated as I go through my day and bringing my nervous system back to homeostasis. So if you are currently in a situation right now where your mental health is a little bit of a dud, then I really suggest you taking a moment, taking a night, taking a morning, taking some time to just release, emotionally release, cry, let it out, journal anything and everything out you possibly can. Don't be afraid of your freaking emotions. Obviously, if you need to, reach out to somebody, but get past that first stage. Okay guys, I am done getting ready. I'm in my Harley Davidson t-shirt that I just got, which I'm so obsessed with, but that is not the topic of this video. So I really wanted to talk about the two things I did last night and this morning to start my day. So like I've been saying, let out the emotions, journal things out, cry, whatever. Something that's really helped me on times where I'm feeling very anxious is to fall asleep with sleep affirmations. So I'm not gonna get into a whole tangent on the subconscious mind, but you know, the beliefs that you hold about yourself and the world and what's gonna happen and everything, they're very much so ingrained in you and they live within your subconscious mind. And it's important that you try to change those beliefs into new, healthier beliefs, beliefs that make you feel confident, beliefs that make you feel safe and sound, honestly, because that's really where you start to take action from. And that's also where spiraling stories will either come or not come, depending on the things that you hold to be true about yourself, about men, about relationships, about money, about everything. So it's really, really good for you to kind of work on your foundational beliefs that you might not have ever really had in your childhood, like a lot of us. So I have this little, it's not an iPad, it's like an Android little iPad thing. And every night I sleep to, well, not every single night, but most nights I will sleep to sleep affirmation. So Dylan James has a lot of good ones. I always talk about him. He's amazing. Depending on what you're struggling with. So if you're really struggling with foundational beliefs around love or money, or let's say you're feeling really low self-worth and you're not really confident within yourself and you're second guessing yourself a lot, he has a lot of affirmations, and they're literally like 8 hours, so you could play them on your phone or something like this and have them playing in the background, and your subconscious mind is really picking up these beliefs, and I promise you will start to feel a difference. Now, sometimes people start to feel worse before they feel better because their subconscious minds are literally like pushing and rejecting the idea of having any healthy beliefs within themselves, because essentially that does contradict everything that you have been kind of living your life based off of. But it's very, very helpful, and I wake up feeling so much better. And you know, when I wake up hearing some of the affirmations that he says or other people, I will have other ones linked down below as well. You just feel you just feel better. Like, you know, when you tell yourself a really good affirmation and you try to remind yourself of the good things that you have in your life and how amazing you are and how you have this going for yourself and that going for yourself, like naturally it does make you feel really good. And so sleeping with affirmations like that on all night can really help you feel a lot better about yourself or whatever you're going through, and it can really help you regulate your nervous system. And again, when we are resetting our mental health, like our nervous system plays a huge role. So that is something that I utilize, especially when I'm really trying to reset my mental health. I will sleep with it tonight. Sometimes when I take naps, I will put this on as well. And then another thing is actually journaling. Like I said, now there is a difference between the journaling that I did last night, where I was like letting out absolutely everything, anger, and the journaling that I do this morning and moving forward. And that is writing out a list of things that make me feel good, things that I'm grateful for, things that I need to remind myself of how amazing that I am. So again, going back to my certain circumstance so that I don't take things personally. I also will come up with a story that makes me feel the best so that I continue to move forward and have my mind on the right track. Because realistically, like, let's say you're going through a relationship issue or any issue, like with anyone, or any money issue or opportunity, whatever, you start to tell yourself a million stories, and guess what? Not one of them are positive. Not one of them actually make you feel at ease. And it's really going to be up to you to decide what story you are going to tell yourself. So if that means you need to tell yourself, this person didn't show up this way because it's their own thing, it's their own problem, it doesn't have anything to do with me, I am a good person, I am a good, loving X, Y, and Z, then you need to tell yourself that. Now, your subconscious mind, the one that's trying to reaffirm to you your low self-worth and trying to reaffirm to you what you actually believe about men and relationships, which is, it is you are the problem, and on top of that, nobody stays, everyone leaves you, whatever it is, they're going to try to find that narrative that confirms to them what they hold, because we want to make sure that we are right. We are human beings. We want to make sure that we're surviving and that we are right. But realistically, that part of us does not understand that it's not helpful, and no matter what, once you go to a negative story, it just continues to spiral. So it's really going to be up to you to tell yourself a new story so that you can keep going on track. And realistically, what is going to happen in your reality when it comes to people showing up in your life or opportunities coming to you, whatever, it's going to be a result of how you get up out of your bed and take action. If you are taking action from a place of, oh my God, it's me, I'm a loser, I'm bad, I'm wrong, nothing ever good happens to me, you're probably not going to take good actions like the ones that I'm going to be taking today that will lead you to attract better things in your life. And that's honestly my opinion, and that's how it's really been. And one thing that's a good reminder is, like, partly your actions will dictate your reality. Your reality will start to conform to who you are. But especially if you have an anxious attachment style, it's so important that you are actually doing these behaviors and these things for yourself, because you know that you are deserving. Sometimes what we do is, okay, I know if I just focus on myself, then that person will come and conform to me. You're still not learning the lesson. Most likely the lesson that you need to learn, which is you need to actually give an F about yourself. You need to actually be obsessed with yourself. You need to actually create that love and that feeling of happiness within yourself, regardless if that person is there or not. And that's the hardest part. That is the thing that we don't want to do, but it is the thing that is most important. And so when you are resetting your mental health and you're trying to get back on track, it's so important that you really do start doing things that will make you feel good. And you know, it's okay that you're not going to feel 100% doing them, because I used to think okay, well, people are telling me to go to the gym and eat and take care of myself and blah, 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 but I don't feel good when I do those things. You still feel the essence of loneliness. You still feel like it's your fault. You still have these spiraling thoughts. And you know what? It's okay to welcome that. Like, we're not gonna go in the direction of spiraling like crazy, but like, it's okay that, like, for me this morning, I woke up, I did my affirmations, I tried to get my mind right as best that I could, but at the end of the day, I was still going to yoga with the feeling of I'm disappointed and, you know, like still thinking like maybe it's me, whatever. Like, I still had the essence of that re-existing trauma, really, and that's totally okay. We make things a lot more difficult and harder for us to be in the present moment when we are trying to resist the fact that we're feeling alone. And one thing that was actually really cool today in my yoga class was when we were doing a twist. We were like sitting like this, basically. I don't even know if you guys can see me, and we were like hugging our knee, and then we were twisting like this, and she was telling us to look behind us. And when you look behind you, like when you bring your eyes somewhere, right? Your body's naturally gonna follow where your gaze is at. And that's good because we want our bodies to follow that way. And when she said that, I was thinking like, wow, that's so true even with our minds and even where we put our focus. Like when we focus so much on a negative circumstance, what happens is our bodies follow it. Our energy follows it. Our nervous systems follow it. Our anxiety starts to get triggered. And then we start acting out of that place and we just end up spiraling. So I say that to say, on one hand, when we go to the yoga class and we welcome the fact that maybe we're not feeling completely super happy and we're still feeling a little alone, and that's okay. When that feeling, or AKA when that inner child wants to come online and really make us spiral and oh my god, it's me, whatever, what you can do is remind yourself, use that logical part of yourself, and even think about the story I just told you, that realistically, if we keep focusing on this thing, AKA spiraling and thinking that it's us and worrying about what they're doing and their behaviors and everything, all the bad circumstances that are going on in our lives, our energy and our reality will start to conform to that thing. And what we actually want is the opposite of that thing. And we have to remind ourselves that. And you know, it is difficult. And it is like honestly, it's like sometimes you have to go through it 10, 20, 30, 40 times a day because you have so many times where your inner child is like going back to the same thing and going back, but it's gonna be up to you. It's going to be up to you. And so it's important that you do go to the yoga class. You do your workout anyways. You do your work. You go and see your friends. You do these things even if you're not feeling 100%. You're eating your food. You're trying to take your mind off of things. Another practice that I did, and I did it in yoga, but you could also do this by, I'll have something linked down below so you can kind of like do this for your nervous system, because realistically, resetting your mental health is resetting your nervous system and calming yourself down, especially in times when you're ruminating and you're just spiraling. So bringing it back to the times where I felt like I was so bored, I was waiting for my mom, it was the unknown, it was like so long, I couldn't even deal with it, it was so depressing to wait for my mom to come home. And realistically, why it felt so uncomfortable in that moment is because I didn't have people around me to help me deal with this feeling of loneliness and this feeling of waiting for my mom, because at the end of the day, my mom was always going to be gone, right? But I just didn't have a father there to really help me and aid me and make me feel at ease, calm, like I'm fine. It's actually okay sometimes if you're bored. It's not as scary as we think. And or maybe I just didn't also, well, not maybe, I didn't have certain things that were set in place that would make me feel maybe less bored as a child. But there's gonna be a natural time in our lives where we feel bored or stillness, and we need to learn how to be okay with that. So when I was in yoga, at the end they do this vinyasa, I think that's what you say, where you lay down and you just basically breathe. And once we're in that position, she basically just says, thank you guys so much for the class, you guys can get up at your own time and then you can go. And usually I wait like a few seconds and then I get up and I go because everyone else is going, but also I was with my friend Rachel and she's super into yoga, so I knew that she was gonna be staying a lot longer. So I just told myself, like, you don't need to get up. Like, why don't you just wait for her anyways, because you are gonna be waiting for her and she's gonna need to take a shower. So it's like, why would you get up just to go meet her in the change room just to wait for her there when you can sit here in silence, in stillness, and be still with her? But sometimes it's very uncomfortable, especially for people who are very anxious. It's like, I don't wanna sit, I don't wanna wait, like I wanna text, I wanna do this, I wanna do that, blah, blah. And I was like, you know what, no. let's experience what it feels like for a moment to just sit in silence and stillness. And on top of that, I was training myself and my inner child that, look, there's someone right beside you that is willing to lay here in stillness with you, and you are safe. Because realistically, when we are in stillness and we're in the unknown, we feel so unsafe. We feel like nobody is there with us. And sometimes people aren't there. But for us to learn how to train ourselves that we are going to be safe in this moment is huge for our nervous systems. And that's what I did. And if you don't have that and you don't feel like you're willing to do that on your own, that's fine. But what you can do is you can do guided meditations to reset your nervous system. So you basically are listening to somebody guide you through a moment in time, but you're also still with yourself and you're in the present moment. You're not in your head, you're not ruminating, you're not stressing, you're not whatever. So I'll leave one that I love down below. The Mindful Movement has amazing sleep meditations, affirmations, resets, anything, any length of time. Okay, so before I go and meet my friend, she's also gonna come back here as well. I wanted to quickly talk about what I did last night to help me as I was resetting, and that was I decided to paint. Now this is obviously an outlined canvas and I have not finished it yet. I'm gonna continue to do this tonight. And honestly, I just put on Jack Harlow's new album because I'm obsessed with him and literally just painted in front of the TV last night. And one thing that's really helped me when I'm trying to reset my mental health is to do activities or talk to people or listen to content that is different than what I'm usually listening to or engaging in. Because sometimes when you try and do the same routine that you have been doing, it kind of can trigger you into the old thoughts or the old feelings or whatever. So like, you know, the word reset really does mean reset, but it also just means do something new. So the painting and the listening to Jack Harlow's new album, first of all new music. So it's a whole new vibe. I'm not listening to songs that trigger me into thinking about this, that, and the third. So please, if you listen to music a lot, try and switch up an album, make a new playlist, get a whole vibe going. Painting, I don't really do painting that often, but that was something that I really enjoyed doing and it was something new. One of my friends was saying like, go out with your girlfriends and, you know, look amazing and remind yourself of how amazing you are, which is something that I probably will do, but I also don't want to go out and engage with people or do certain things that will trigger me, that will make me feel like I'm really just trying to get my mind off of things, but I'm not actually. So I'm really being mindful of the people that I'm hanging out with and I'm speaking to when I'm trying to reset my mental health, because the conversations that you have will either help or hurt you when it comes to your friends. And listen, it doesn't mean that your friends are bad if you are talking about certain things that you usually are, but sometimes you need to just go and talk to a friend who will not be talking about something that you have been going through. And even if they do, they will have a different perspective, a new light, a new flair, a new energy. I think it's so important. If you're doing things alone, go to a new coffee shop, go to a new spot, go find a new trail to walk on, go to the gym at a certain time, change up your workout. And something that's really helped me as well, like I already mentioned, is taking a break from social media, taking a break from the things that you always do every single day. It will really help snap you out of it. So I'm gonna go meet Tess at I think we're going to Impact Kitchen to get coffee, and then she's gonna come back here because she's never seen my apartment, even though it is a little bit of a mess, but I did do some cleaning. Oh, that's another thing. You know, obviously cleaning can be a really good thing to kind of get your mind off of things, but what I did was, yes, I did the normal cleaning in my apartment, but I also organized my closet and I color coordinated everything. And I also went through all of my products in my washroom that I had been putting off. Like the little things that you've been putting off, those are such good things to tap into and to do, or, you know, projects that you haven't touched in a long time. Those are amazing to reset yourself. So I'm gonna put on some pants and then we're gonna go get some coffee because I still have not had coffee, although I've been drinking so much water because I did hot yoga and I was sweating head to toe and I am parched.
I always give away too much. It's like I've got no sense of touch. I'm always pouring out my heart, no little by little here. I'm always pushing.
Hi everyone, just got back from a very long unpacking session with my friend Tess. Also, we didn't end up coming back here because we just figured we would stay there because she ended up eating, and yeah, so she'll have to come see my apartment another day, but my throat is not feeling the best. I feel like I might be getting sick, so I'm gonna take some Buckley's and I'm probably gonna take a nap because I am tired. And honestly, one thing to note, when you are going through something emotionally draining, working through any mental health issue, it is so important that you give yourself time to rest and sleep and relax. And I know sometimes it can be very hard when you have a job, when you're working, but in the pockets of time that you can, to just give yourself a second to rest, to not think about work, to not think about doing and going and creating and whatever it is that you do. Because when you're processing emotions, it is so taxing on the body, it's so taxing on the mind, and you need to rest. And I'm not surprised that right now I'm feeling like my immune system is going down a little bit because I have been going through a lot. As you guys saw quickly, we went to Impact Kitchen and I had this immune elixir, which was so good before my latte. And I think it definitely had cayenne pepper in it, lemon, ginger, I think. I don't know, there's a few other things. I kind of want to look it up and maybe get some ingredients to make it again, but that won't be most likely till tonight or tomorrow. I honestly don't feel like leaving my apartment again. There's a few things that I want to buy tomorrow to get myself back on track again, but we will see. All right guys, I just made dinner. I tried to sleep, but it didn't really work. So I just got up and made some grass-fed ground beef. And I made rice, well, I just warmed it up with kimchi and avocado. Literally so good. Guys, take this in, okay? This is my view right now. There is not 1 ounce of life that I can see out these windows. It is literally all fog. All fog. Love that. What a great way to deal with your mental health. So I'm going to eat my food. It's like 6:30-ish, which feels so weird because I'm tired, but I'm not gonna go to sleep. So it'll probably be an early night for me. I'm gonna watch something on YouTube that is different than what I usually watch. I've been really into watching vloggers again recently. If you feel like you know anyone that I would really vibe with or like, then let me know in the comments, but I'm gonna try and find somebody who I don't normally watch just to get a new vibe. Like there's something about watching somebody's life or learning a new topic or hearing something from somebody else instead of the same person that you usually always hear from that just hits different, that something comes out that you haven't heard before, or just, again, it gives you that new feeling. And I think that sometimes when we're talking about our mental health and going through something, sometimes it feels like it's so much because we're in the same stuck energy. We're in the same energy state. We're thinking about the same thing. We're creating the same type of experience in our life. And I do think that it's helpful to do things in your reality that will kind of shift you out of that energy state and into something a little bit different. I swear Drake said this in one of his songs or something, I don't know. And like, are we really gonna get mental health advice from Drake? Probably not, but he said something like, just give it 72 hours and things will change or you will feel better or something. I don't know, he was saying something to do with 72 hours, but it's so true. Like, think about it. Something or someone or some situation will change. Something will change. And you kind of have to hold on to that, as sometimes when you're going through hard times, to just remind yourself, like, it's not gonna be like this forever, and you are going to be okay in the moments that it's not. But it's gonna be up to you. It's gonna be up to you to be your own best friend, to be your own inner child's parent, to be your own person internally as you're going through these things. Because, you know, your friends can tell you you'll be okay, and people online will tell you okay. I can tell you that you're okay, but if you aren't telling yourself that, then it's not gonna hit. It's not gonna hit. And it's difficult. I know it's so difficult at some points, but you know, that's life. And if you stop resisting, you will learn a lot about the situation that you are in, and you will stand up tenfold. I was just talking to my friend Joy about this, and we were talking about how when we do fall down, which is so inevitable, whether that's with work or relationships or anything, your self-confidence goes down a little bit, you start second guessing yourself, you start, maybe you made the wrong decision, or you made a mistake, quote unquote, whatever it is, you know, if you really go through the process and accept that and you look at it for what it is, when you stand up, and what we were saying is when we stand up, be afraid. Be very afraid, because not only do I stand up, because I was there with myself and became my best friend, decided to be with my emotions and heal myself, I stand up 10x. It happens every time. I promise you that. And I know it's hard for you to believe that in the moment, but take it from somebody who is every single time has gotten down, got picked back up exponentially. You will. I have created everything amazing in my life from those down moments, from not resisting those down moments. So with that being said, I'm gonna eat and I will see you tomorrow.
Take it away, feeling too good to me. Chilling all day, all in your space is where I wanna be. Here in this room, what did you do? I just can't get enough. Too caught up in your love. I've been trying to forget, but you won't let me. Something in my brain wants you.
Good morning, everyone. I am feeling a little bit sick, as you can probably hear my voice, but I'm honestly still okay, like for sure gonna be okay. I just woke up not too long ago and I actually watched a vlog this morning just to get me in a good mood. And as you can see, I did some journaling, and the journaling that I did this morning was just really writing out anything that would make me feel good about my life, good about myself, good about the day to come, excited about the week, the months, the years to come, anything. And I think that's such a good journal practice to have, is to have something that makes you feel good. Because when you feel good, the stories stop. When you feel good and when you remind yourself of all the amazing qualities that you have about yourself and how great your life is, you also tend to take action. You take good action. You take action in a positive direction so that it ends up creating more positive feelings in your life. And that's kind of what we're all here for. We're here to feel better, especially when you're trying to reset your mental health. Obviously, I feel really good right now, other than my voice sounds a little bit not the best. I was considering going to the grocery store and buying those ingredients for the Impact Kitchen drink, but I know myself and I know that when I buy all these things, I'm not actually gonna really continue to make them because I'm not gonna be sick for a long time. So it is gonna rain today once again, which is kind of annoying. It really is annoying, especially when you are trying to like work on your mental health. It's like, girl, can we not rain? Can we just have the sun? Because I think the sun is like the best cure when you're not feeling good, but whatever, it's out right now, so I'm not gonna complain. I love waking up and the sun is just on the buildings and it's just out. It's so good. It literally just makes me, it reminds me why I'm here. It reminds me why I'm here. But anyways, I'm gonna go and have a walk and listen to a podcast that's going to put me in a good mindset, and I need to get out of this place, especially before it rains. And I was thinking, let me just go walk to Impact Kitchen and get that drink that I got yesterday, because my throat is really needing that drink. It really is needing it. It's not a want, it is a need. So I'm gonna go do that, and I'm gonna look for a podcast episode. By the way, guys, some of you guys have been sleeping and you guys didn't know I had a podcast. It's so funny because some of you girls will comment on my videos and be like, oh my gosh, girl, you should start a podcast. It's like, babe, I've had one for a whole year. So if you're interested in listening to more of me, I do have a podcast. It's called the Glow Up Secrets Podcast. It's on Spotify and Apple. But not recently, for the past, since January, I've been putting the episodes on YouTube. So if you want to hear me and see me, and type in the Glow Up Secrets podcast on YouTube and then you can get it there. But if you want more episodes like the older ones, then definitely go listen on Spotify and Apple. I still post the audio version as well on Spotify and Apple for the new episodes as well, but you have the option as well, of course. So I'm not gonna be listening to my podcast, but I will let you know what I'm gonna listen to. One other thing that I forgot to mention, and I need to mention it quickly, is that I have 2 journal guides that are digital as well. One is an inner child discovery journal prompt guide, and another one is a heal to manifest guide. That is my most recent one that I created. So if you're interested in manifesting, if you're interested in healing, because I do think that manifesting and creating the life that you want, it really involves you doing some deep healing work and working on the nervous system and working on your beliefs and things like that. So if you're interested, Those will be linked in the description as well. Very affordable if you're interested. You know what? I think I'm gonna stay in the energy of Kenzie Elizabeth this morning. I'm gonna listen to her podcast, I Love You So Much podcast, and it's called Working on Myself is Exhausting and Other Life Updates. And it's so funny because I was watching one of her videos, her vlogs, and she was talking about how, you know, some days she likes to listen to podcasts that are very self-development and like self-improvement, and then other days she just needs to hear girls chatting about random shit or like pop culture, and that is so me. I ebb and flow through vibes of podcasts. I love a good educational podcast, and if you guys are interested in some of the podcasts, the books, and all the resources that I love, I did make a video on that and I can have it linked down below, but I totally felt her with that. Like, there's just some times where, and this is a good time to talk about it, like this time I don't need to learn a new thing or like read a new book. Maybe you will if that's what you're doing for your mental health reset, but for me, that's a normal thing for me to do, is to be learning and teaching myself and listening to so many podcasts, like very dense, very long, educational, academic podcasts, but I just want to hear somebody chit chat, and I know her podcast is more like that, so I definitely want to listen to it. I also love her summer vlogs because she lives in Texas, and I actually think in my past life I did live in Texas or somewhere in the South, either Florida or Texas. I don't know. I'm still trying to figure that out, but the Southern life, the Southern vibes, the everything about being a Southern person, to me, I don't know. There's something that is deep within my soul that I love, and I want to go to Texas. And if any of you guys live in Texas, please let me know because I need to go. And listen, I understand that there are also like bad things that have happened in Texas and in the South in general. Some people, when I say that, they're like, what? Why would you ever want to go to the South? Or like, why would you, whatever. Doesn't matter. That's not the conversation. And you know what I think it also is the fact that like she lives in Texas, yes, but she also basically lives a suburban lifestyle. And I am very much so here for a suburban lifestyle. I live downtown Toronto right now, but I know that's not gonna be my life forever. And yeah, she's just giving like suburban housewife vibe, and that's the vibe I'm on. Anyways, I'm gonna listen to that podcast and stop talking, and hopefully my throat will feel better when I get back. From my long freaking walk, which was so nice, even though I'm not feeling the best when it comes to my immunity, but it was still so nice to go outside very early. It was like, what, 8:30 when I left, and I just walked around the lakeshore until I was able to actually go to Impact Kitchen so that I could get my drink, which I did, and it was perfect. And then I walked to Shoppers because I wanted to get more medicine. I don't love taking medicine, but I also am not gonna let myself suffer when I don't need to. So I end up actually getting this Neocitrin, if any of you guys know. I feel like this is not in the US, but I actually don't know. Let me know if this is in the US, but it's in Canada and it's like such a big thing here. So I ended up getting 7th generation all-purpose cleaner because I needed more of that for my tables, my countertops, everything. And then I got 7th generation glass cleaner because I needed that as well. And I got toilet paper and I got paper towel because those are just things that I needed, and I've been putting it off. And like I've been saying in this video, sometimes it's good to get all the little things that you keep putting off done because it just helps you with your mindset. I also got more sponges, and oh, I got a tomato for my bagel sandwiches in the morning. And I also got more of the Maybelline Last Sensational mascara because this is my favorite mascara and it was on sale. So when it's on sale, I just buy 2 because I literally go through it every single time. Afternoon, guys. My camera is so high up, but I don't feel like switching it out to another tripod, so we're just gonna keep it like this. I woke up from a nap and I just came out of the shower, and the reason why I'm drinking coffee at damn near 4:30, 5 o'clock is because I forgot to drink it, and I was wondering why I was getting a headache at like 12 o'clock. And even after I took medicine, I was like, why do I still have a headache? It's because I didn't have caffeine. And if you don't know, majority of the time, if your body is used to drinking caffeine every single day, when you don't have it, you get a headache. Now, today's not the day that I'm gonna push through this headache. I really just couldn't. So I'm having my coffee now, and I'm just going to relax for the rest of the day. Now, yesterday I did have on my plans list to go and get my nails done and to be not even more productive, but do a few things. But honestly, I'm just not feeling it, and I'm gonna allow myself to not feel it and to just do it another day. And I think that's something that's very important when it comes to trying to reset your mental health. Or any time that you're going through something, you will have highs and you will have lows. It is so natural. And I think that you need to embrace the lows and not force yourself to do things that you might have put on your list to make yourself feel better. Now, obviously it's great to do certain things to make yourself feel better, but it's also not necessary, especially when it comes to being productive. I know a lot of us, we want to get back to our routines and back to work, realistically, and obviously depends on what you do for work, but even things such as cleaning the house, getting your nails done, doing a self-care day, sometimes it's just not the vibe. And I think that is so okay. So I'm going to spend the rest of my day just watching vlogs. I kind of want to make a summer list of things to do. I've already done that in terms of going to like certain patios that I want to go to and rooftops and just like restaurants and things. Even some places that don't involve like you going to a restaurant, like parks and stuff, but I feel like I want to revamp that list a little bit because we're really going into May now. Well, when this video is out, it's going to be May. So like we're here and we need to go out into the city and live our life. Now, usually Sunday, I like to plan my weeks as well. I don't know how much planning I will do because I'm not really in the mood to plan, and that's also okay. I know that I do have the luxury of just like putting certain things off, but I remember the times when I was working literally 3 jobs and I realized how important it was to honor my emotions and my feeling state and to slow down sometimes. And so depending on what your life looks like, I think no matter what, there's probably some things that you can give yourself some grace on and opt out of for now and put it off to another day, or take your time doing that thing. And on top of that, not feel bad and not get mad at yourself because you're not as productive as you should be, you're not getting things done exactly the way that you want, etc. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you got some tips out of this. Let me know if you like this video and other videos that you want to see next. It's definitely not going to be a mental health reset because I don't plan on my mental health being like this. Really, it's not bad. Like I'm honestly okay. Another thing I'm gonna say, I honestly feel so freaking good about life, and it's so funny because I'm somebody who analyzes their dreams a lot, and I find that whatever my dreams are a reflection of subconscious beliefs and things I'm holding within me. And the dreams that I've been having, well, even today, they were just so much filled with just like love and friendship and sisterhood and support. And it's just, that's what I'm actually feeling within my soul because of the things that I've been doing. And obviously connecting with my friends and reminding myself that I am safe and that I am loved and that I am worthy and that I'm all of these things. And it really shows. It shows up in my dreams. Also, another thing that I think contributed to the dreams that I was having is you guys. My channel is growing, as always. So it's always been growing, which is crazy because we're almost at 200,000 subscribers. And in such a short amount of time, it's literally insane. Since like November till now, 200,000 subscribers is insane. But even in one of my recent videos, it's been like popping off. I have almost 200,000 views on that, about how to exit your lazy era. And you guys are telling me that I'm hitting the nail on the head and you are seeing something within yourself that you have not seen. And I've just been able to teach you something that you haven't really heard, or maybe you've heard before, but you just needed to hear it again. I'm reading your guys' comments and it makes me feel like, wow, like I'm really doing what I am not only meant to do here, but you know, I have this valuable gift of understanding humans, understanding the human experience. I've gone through literally so much that allows me to have these deep understandings of what it means to be a human in life. And of course, everyone knows, like, obviously you're human too, like you go through life and whatever, but some of the insights and the wisdom and of course all of the knowledge that I've picked up over the years, the fact that I'm able to put them into something and put it out into the universe and it's helping you guys is so profound. And it really reminds me of what I'm really here to do, and it just makes me very full and very happy that I'm able to help you guys. And just know that you guys are helping me as well. Like, obviously you guys validate me in a way, in a very humble way. I'm not somebody who's like, oh my God, like I have subscribers and I have people telling me I'm the best, that I really don't. But it's like, it's the deep level of feeling connected to you guys when you send me messages or you comment on my videos and you say, this literally changed my life. Like, thank you so much. I understand myself better now, blah, 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 blah. It makes me feel so connected to you guys because, first of all, it reminds me of when I saw people or I came to realizations even on my own. Majority of the time it was on my own, but I came to these realizations and I was like, oh my God, like I get it. I feel seen, I feel heard, I can do this. I'm moving through these things, and you know, I'm not immune to feeling the way that sometimes you guys might feel as well. I have days where I'm low, I have days where I'm high, I have days where I'm excited and motivated, and I'm on my period, so then I'm low, like all of these things, and I'm constantly going through the cycle and relearning and learning again and everything. So when you guys tell me these things, it just makes me feel very connected. And of course, feeling connected is the number one priority, the number one thing that we are all searching for and that we are all actually really, really wanting. And I think that when we get down, when we feel depressed, when we have bad mental health days, not bad, whatever, it's really because we feel that disconnection, we feel that gap between things for so many reasons. So yeah, I just want to say thank you guys so much, because you guys are always listening, always inspiring me, always supporting me, and you guys are literally the sweetest people ever. Like, my DMs, my comment section, my comments on my everything, just everything. You guys are just so incredibly amazing, and I'm also very, very proud of you guys. I know that I say that all the time in my comment section, because I don't even know what else to say sometimes other than I'm so proud of you for seeing yourself. Because realistically, like, guys, there are people out there that just won't have mental health reset days, that won't address their mental health issues, that won't journal, that won't explore, that won't search for answers, and you guys all do that. It doesn't matter which days that you're at, you all do that if you sit here and you watch my videos. And I'm so proud of that, because there are so many people who just aren't even willing to do that. They're too scared to do that. And I think sometimes we get hard on ourselves, and you guys get hard on yourselves for, you know, when you're having a bad mental health day, or you're not feeling the best, or you're down in the dumps. And it's like, you need to realize the small little steps that you make by clicking on videos to learn, to get inspired, to get motivated, to try your best to get up and go. Like, that is something to be so incredibly proud of. And, you know, I look back on the old me and how hard I was, even though I was committed to improving myself every single day, and I was still so freaking hard on myself when I didn't read 10 pages of my book instead of only 5, or I didn't pick up my book that night, or I didn't have the best morning routine or night routine, or, you know, I was feeling my emotions and I was crying and I was getting mad at myself because I didn't stay strong and blah, blah, blah. And it's like, we need to stop being so hard on ourselves, like, truly, because I'm telling you, there's just people out here who are not even willing to do any sort of the work, and really not willing to look at themselves in the mirror. And I think that the first step of change is looking yourself in the mirror and seeing yourself where you're at and how you're feeling, and just accept what is right in front of you. And it really helps you be able to do that change, but it's scary. It's one of the most scary things that you can do sometimes. And bringing it back to Friday night, when I told you guys, like, I had to sit with my emotions, that is the first step, and a lot of people can't do it. A lot of people don't want to do it, they're too afraid, and it's not easy. So when you are committed to this work, you have a lot of courage, and I just want to acknowledge you for that courage. So anyways, I'm going to go. Thank you so much for watching. If you've watched this far, again, journal guides, my podcast, everything else that I talked about will be linked in the description, and I will see you guys in another video. Bye.